So, Andy Murray, here we are. We're in England at the start of the summer, and I know you're busy all year round, but this is when you really get busy. And this year it's a bit different, isn't it? Because apart from the small matter, the French, Wimbledon, US Open, you've also got the Olympics. Now, I know it's every 4 years, but it's a big old year, isn't it? Big summer for you.
Yeah, huge year. In many ways, probably the most important in my career, I would have thought. The Olympics is going to be, I think, incredible. It's going to be, there's been a lot of pressure and stress, but also a lot of excitement as well. Wimbledon and obviously the Olympics is the biggest sporting, it's the biggest sporting competition by far. Wimbledon in my sport, in tennis, is probably the biggest. So to get the chance to play two in the space of 3 or 4 weeks, in the UK is going to be great. So really looking forward to it.
And it's a really sort of unusual set of circumstances because for start it's only once every 4 years, but in this case it's not just any old Olympics, is it? It's the Olympics in London, so it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for you. And it kind of begs the question. I mean, people bang on about, you haven't quite yet won that slam, but the Olympics, that's got to be at least as big, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken a lot about it this year, and the Olympics, it's different to the slam. There's a different feel to it, but if you look at how much it means to, like at the last Olympics, Djokovic won a bronze medal at the Olympics, and he was in tears. If you lost in the semi-finals of a Grand Slam, everybody's disappointed, you're down about it, you're upset, but just getting a medal at a slam, it's a different feeling. You feel there's a lot of emotion when you're playing for your country as well, as opposed to when you're playing in a slam, it's different. So yeah, I was saying that I think winning a gold medal in the Olympics is the ultimate sporting achievement, like a gold medal. Whereas within tennis, probably winning a Grand Slam is, but for in worldwide terms, I think winning a gold medal probably means more.
Now I know you're a massive sports fan. You love your boxing, don't you? And your football, and you're always banging on about your fantasy league on Twitter, and you even do your go-karting, don't you? And you play your 11-a-side football, don't you? So I know you're a big sports nut. As the Olympics as a whole, are you going to get the chance to take any of it in?
I hope so. At the last Olympics, probably didn't play well. I got to see some boxing, and I went to see some badminton as well.
Is that because you didn't play well?
Yeah.
Okay. Silver lining then.
Yeah. At least I got to take in some of the other sports, but one of the cycling routes goes through Oxshott, where I live,
right.
So I might get to see some of that.
The power that you have, Andy. Huh? How much should it take to sway them to do that?
But anyway, I want to try and get to see some of the other events. It's pretty, rare you get to see other sports, especially the best in the world at things. I mean, the last Olympics, I would have liked to play better, but I also want to make sure I take in some other sports. You can also learn a lot from watching and just being part of the general atmosphere of the games is great.
In a funny sort of way, and I know it's dangerous talk because you can't pick and choose. You'll whatever opportunity comes your way, you'll take. But you've got a few more attempts at the slams, haven't you? Whereas you've got one shot only at a London Olympics.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's where I have. Well, I love sports. I have a lot of respect for the track and field athletes, and most of the athletes at the Olympics, they work all their life to win an Olympic gold medal. That's 4 years. They have to wait for it. They can't mess up. They can't false start. You can't prepare all that time and make mistakes. It's so tough. There's so much pressure and so much work's gone into it that you really need to make sure your performance, it doesn't just come around the next day. You got to wait a long time. Whereas at least in tennis, we've got another chance at a slam. But with the Olympics, you don't have that luxury.
The funny thing about the Olympics, of course, is that every year, come Wimbledon, even when it happens, the whole country goes Murray mania. And I thought we've spoken about this before. How do you deal with the pressure? And I think your reply is always, I don't really see it like that. It's really great to have that sort of support on my back. Well, this time you're going to have it twice.
Yeah, I think the thing that I just find it strange in all sports, everybody agrees that having home advantage is home advantage. You don't play at home and teams crumble. In football, you know, you have the home support behind you. It helps you, and you know, all sports that's the case. Whereas with tennis, people seem to think, well, oh, there's so much pressure, but actually, you know, you look at Tim Henman's results. He had his best results of his career on grass. Yes, his game was suited to that, but he also reached the semi-finals of, you know, the other slams as well. So it was his consistency there was helped because of the, you know, the crowd. People
used to say of you, oh, maybe best surface is, well, it was Wimbledon, it was grass originally, and then it turned to hard court. But I mean, you reached the semis of the French, didn't you, last year? So I mean, you're not too shabby on any surface.
Well, my clay court game needed to improve. It still does need to improve, but I learned a lot on the clay last year, and I started to believe in myself more, and getting to the semi-finals of the French Open helped with that. And yeah, like it's nice now knowing, sort of going into the clay court stretch, that you have an opportunity to win the tournament. Whereas earlier in my career on the clay, it was sort of like a quarterfinals was like that's good, or a semi-finals. Whereas now you have the opportunity to win, so you know it makes working hard much easier.
And the other myth is, oh, it must be really tough when you've got Djokovic and Nadal and Federer, and if you've been born another time. But I mean, you're part of this golden era, I guess, and without putting words in your mouth, it's going to make you better, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the thing is, if they weren't there, then I probably would have won more, but at the same time I might not have been as good a tennis player. So with having those guys around, I've had to raise my game. You know, I've improved a lot. I've learned a lot from each one of them as well.
And you're edging closer and closer, aren't you?
Yeah, I feel like each year I've continued to improve, and you know, I've made some changes to the coaching setup that I have, which is hopefully going to help as well. But you know, when I stop improving, then I'll be worried. But you know, I have kept improving each year, and hopefully this will be my year.
Now, changing sports, you're a huge fight fan, aren't you? A huge fan, perhaps even a bigger fight fan than a tennis fan. Yeah. And you mates David Hay. He's going to come back in the ring. Klitschko, what do you think? Vitali, the older one, the bigger one.
It's tough. I think it's a tough fight for him, to be honest. I mean, I've watched a lot of the Klitschko's fight, and they just win. They're just great at winning. I mean, it doesn't always look pretty, but they win, and that's all that really matters. He's a huge guy, way bigger than David Hay. You know, but it would be an interesting fight. I think it would be good. Klitschko's getting older, so hopefully slowing down a little bit, but he could win.
Looking at your face, your nose is not squashed or broken, which suggests as much as you like fighting, you don't do a lot yourself.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people out there that like to hit me, but I've managed to avoid it so far. But yeah, never actually had a fight ever in my life, but apart from with my brother. But that was more sort of slapping rather than punching.
That wasn't with gloves or anything, though, was it? That was just a sort of a couple of flailing arms.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would like to, when I finish playing, get in the ring. I know Tim Henman's actually started boxing a little bit.
Has he?
Wouldn't mind having a go at him.
Henman v Murray.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be fun.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay then, Andy. Well, good to see you. Best of luck in the summer. Okay.
Thank you.